Good evening. Hey, I was thinking tonight, I wanted to ask you guys a question. Have you ever tried out for a play or a musical or otherwise been in a play or a musical? I'm actually asking because my daughter tonight just had her second audition for Annie the Musical here in Virginia. It's her first attempt to try out for anything. So we're very excited for her. Obviously, we hope she gets the part. But I was thinking about theater and about acting today while we were in the car on a long drive. And then, ironically enough, as I was waiting for her audition to be done, I was reading a book. And as some of you know, I'm rereading The 20 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. And I am on the chapter where he talks about the law of victory. And basically, he says the law of victory has to do with those leaders who absolutely just refuse to lose. They just choose not to be defeated. And in the book, he talks about Winston Churchill as an example, and he talks about Michael Jordan as an example. And specifically with the Jordan reference, he talks about not only did Jordan refuse to lose, but he also made all the players around him better. And so I was thinking about a time in my life when I was in high school, and I'm not a good singer. No one would disagree with me on that point. Maybe my daughter would, but she's just being nice. And I'm not a great actor either, for the most part. But for high school, I can get by in high school. But I had tried out and had gotten a part in a one act play, and for the life of me, I can't remember what it was called now. And so we did the one act play. I was in Minnesota, and like most states, we had playoffs, if you would, for acting. We had sub regionals and regionals and things like that. And so we were at a sub regional conference, and we had won the sub regional conference. We had taken first place, and then we were moving on to the regional competition. And as you imagine, of course, the competition gets a little bit fierce as you go up. You just better actors, better schools, schools with bigger budgets than we had, things like that. Anyways, so we had won the sub regional. We were very excited about it. And there was a fair mix. I was a junior in high school. Our lead was a senior, and so this was kind of like her last play that she was going to be in as a senior. And so she was very determined that she wanted to put forth the best effort possible to advance as far as we could go in the tournament or whatever you would want to call for one act plays in Minnesota. And even I had more acting ahead of me, at least in high school, and so. But I always am very competitive, so I definitely wanted to do very well, and a lot of us are competitive and want to do very well. But there was this one kid, Jacob, I think his name was, or Jared, but I think it was Jacob, and he was one of the most selfish people I had met at that point in my life. And he was tired of doing the play. We'd obviously done performances at the high school, and now we had been doing performances for the this tournament thing. And we, obviously we had to keep doing rehearsing during the school, during the school year to prepare for it. And he just was a big baby, to be honest. And he was like, "Oh, I just don't, yeah, we won, and I just don't want to. I don't want to go any further. I don't want to advance any further. In I don't want, I don't. He didn't care if we won regionals. He just wanted to be done. He wanted to be focused on some other stuff. And anyways, the reason why that relates to John Maxwell is because in his book he relays a story about when he was in high school and playing basketball, and he was on a team that was did not perform well because the juniors and seniors on the team didn't get along, and they wouldn't play for one another. And obviously, the story goes that their team was terrible. They didn't win very many games. They didn't go to the playoffs. And it reminded me of the story about the one act play because it's so important that if you're gonna be a leader, if you're gonna be a strong, effective leader, you need to be able to not only make the people around you better, but you need to be focused on playing for each other, not playing for yourself, not playing for your mom or your dad, whatever the case may be. You need to lead for the benefit of the entire team that you're leading, not just for yourself. Because when you do it just for yourself, you don't perform as a team the way that you should. And so I just want to encourage you tonight. If you're a leader, if you want to be a leader, if you aspire to be a leader, you really need to get into the mindset of how can I make the people around me better? How can I help to take the team, regardless of how good of a performing team you are, how do I take this team to the next level? And if you have anyone on your team that can't play for the team, that's vision is only selfish, is only inward, you need to probably consider getting them off your team. That doesn't necessarily mean they need to be fired from your company, but you should definitely move them off the team. And I know in high school, I had gone to our director at the time and said, hey, is there any chance that we could find someone who could fill in and take over for Jared, because he is just dragging us down and he's just going to suck the life out of our performance at the regional performance, and we're not going to advance. Is there anybody that you could think of? Is there any chance that we could find someone who could memorize the lines and come in here and just take over? Unfortunately, his part was the narrator, I think, if I remember correctly, and so he had a fairly large part, and it just was not going to be possible to do that. And I had kind of volunteered to try to do it, to take over, but then there wasn't someone to take over my part, and I didn't have a huge part, but my part had enough lines that it would be a challenge to remember. So ultimately, we couldn't replace him, and he laid a major egg. Like, he did such a bad job at our last performance, and it was so far below his talent level and so far below his capabilities. But he sunk it. He sunk our entire crew, our entire cast. He sunk us all, and we didn't advance. I don't even think we placed. There was like 10 one acts in that region. I think we placed like 8th. We were way better than 8th. I don't know if we were good enough to win it, but we were way better than 8th. So all it takes is that one person in your team that isn't pulling their weight and isn't leading from a place of wanting to make the team better. And so if you aren't if your team doesn't share a common vision, if you don't have a common goal as a team, you're never going to accomplish the goal you want to get to. So as a leader, you got to make sure that your team has a common vision, and that you're casting that vision on a routine basis with them, so they know where they're going, how they're going to get there. They believe in the vision, they pull for the vision, and they execute on the vision. And if you get that, not only will you continue to excel in your leadership skills and the level of your leadership, but you're going to achieve some really great things. So love to hear your thoughts on any of this. So drop a comment or send me a message. Until next time, see you later.